Welcome to part 19 of this series where I talk about a specific family branch of mine, get into the details of what I know, what I don't know, and how I got to the conclusions that I did. I'm Yona Paley and I believe genealogy is fun, and clearly you folks think the same because as of today, we have passed the 400 subscriber count, which is just awesome. We are 40% of the way to 1,000 subscribers, so thank you everyone for continuing to bear with me as we grow this YouTube channel, and I promise to keep on putting out the best kind of content that I can and coming up with new clever things to talk about in the field of genealogy. Now with this episode on my Wechselberg line, we're actually closing out the third quadrant out of 4 of my family line series. So obviously I have 4 grandparents, and this is essentially the end of the families of grandparent number 3. So essentially after this, we are 75% of the way there, which means I'm going to have to come up with some other things to talk about. But I hope this series continues to be informative to you while it's going on. So anyways, thank you very much for bearing with me. And in the next group of families, I'm actually going to be talking about a country that we've never talked about before, which is Slovakia. So that's going to be exciting. We're going to get into some Slovakian genealogy. But today we are going to be going back to the same town that we went to before, Majdan in Ukraine. Now before we begin, I just have one favor to ask of you, which is that you do exactly to the like button what you want to do to your brick wall, which is just to demolish it completely. Just knock it down, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I post new episodes. So thank you so much for doing that, and let's begin. I had been able to find out that my third great grandmother, Tsarna Bela Amos, was the daughter of Lipa Amos and Etty Wechselberg. Now, Wechselberg is a surname that pops up quite a bit in this region of Galicia, and in fact, it was really tricky trying to figure out, where to look, because she was born sometime in the late 1700s, early 1800s, and there is a document that I'm pretty sure is Etty's death record. It's an 1868 record for an Esther Amos from Majdan, and it is indexed in Drohobych. Now, Etty is a nickname for Esther, so there's a really good chance, given the fact that, she's born in 1798, lived in Majdan, that this is probably my ancestor, but there's just no other details on this document that can really help us out here. So I'm not 100% sure that it's my ancestor. Probably is, but as a result, I have not added these dates to my tree. So that's a bit of a head scratcher, but the biggest head scratcher of them all when it comes to my Wechselberg line is somebody whom I think may be a relative of mine. And there is enough interesting information there to make it seem like he probably is. But let's see what you think, because there's just not enough here to really come to a conclusion right now. So Etty Wechselberg's husband was Lipa Amos, and Lipa is not the most common name in the world. There is a Lipa Wechselberg who lived in Majdan, and what's really interesting about him is that one of his daughters, who died very young, was actually named Tsarna Bela Wechselberg. Now, if it was just Tsarna or just Bela or just Lipa, this wouldn't really ring any bells, but Tsarna Bela is a very specific combination of 2 names, and the fact that the father is named David Lipa was really, really interesting to me, because I had suspected that my ancestor Lipa Amos, his first name may have been David, from some other documents that I won't get into right now. And here's another weird thing, is that Lipa Wechselberg shows up as a witness on a distant cousin of mine from the Liebesman family. And we happen to know that Tsarna Bela Amos married into the Liebesman family, so the fact that all these seeming coincidences happen at the same time always raises eyebrows among a genealogist. And it's something that I've been looking into, but sadly there's just not enough documents to verify or disprove this. He was probably born around 1860 or before because his wife was born in 1860. And oh, hello, there's a cat over here. My friend's cat just jumped onto my lap. So you can say hi to Alice. Hey, say hi, Alice. Hello. Okay. One cool tip to note is that cats really love genealogy. They love family research because they're really curious about who their ancestors were. And when they see a human on the computer, they hope, that he can figure out who their ancestors were. And most of the time, it ends in heartbreak. But anyways, getting back to my Wechselberg family, this is a very common last name, a little bit less common in the specific village of Majdan. But given how far back my ancestors lived, probably the 1790s, 1810s, there may not be a whole lot that I can do besides for just be patient and wait, because there might be records that come out or there may not be. And this is a line that once I figured out there weren't a lot of documents for, I'll admit I didn't really devote that much energy to. I did make a huge listing of all of the Wechselbergs who lived in the area, as I do for every single line. And there do seem to be a few naming patterns here or there, but I think for now this is one that's really just going to have to remain on the back burner. So anyways, that wraps up quadrant number 3 of my Meet My Family line. Hopefully we'll return to here when I solve some brick walls, which I always think aren't going to happen, but they happen. So just stay tuned. And then the next time around, we're going to be diving into my maternal grandmother's family, who some of them came from Slovakia, and some of them came from Ukraine. So we're going to learn about a whole bunch of new towns, a whole bunch of new lines. It's going to be really exciting. Anyways, before we go, I just want to remind you to follow me on social media. I've included links down below in the description box to both my Instagram and my Twitter. So make sure to follow me on that. And thank you so much for being one of my 400 subscribers. Hopefully the next 400 subscribers will come even faster. So just keep on watching. And thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.